James. I am the Paint Slinger, and welcome to the Easter edition of my show. Now, since it's Easter, we're going to take a little bit of a break this week, and we're not going to start any new projects, but I am going to show you some of the stuff that I'm working on. It's on my painting table. It's my own personal projects. But I tell you what, though, next week, starting in May, I guess possibly the end of April, what we're going to do is we're going to start getting into Warhammer Quest, the Blackstone Fortress. Now, I've been kind of looking forward to cracking into this girl and looking at some of the miniatures, because I've heard that they're beautiful things. But that'll be coming up shortly. Today is just about what I got on my bench, and what I'm working on for personal, for my personal armies and personal things. So one of the things that I'm doing is I love Blood Bowl. Some people say that there are other games out there. I think Dread Ball, or Dread Ball, I should say, is a better game, more sports, whatever, less just crush your enemies and whatever. But I like Blood Bowl. It's fun. And it is about crushing your enemies, less sports, and I'm not really a sports guy, nerd guy. But, so, I was kind of working on some of my Blood Bowl team here, and some of my Skaven Blood Bowl guys. Don't know where my sheet is, but that's okay, we're not going to worry about it. So all I'm really doing today is just working on those guys, maybe working on some of my big Stormfiend miniatures, which are also, for the Skaven, and that's for my own personal army. I've been kind of working on these guys off and on for a few years. I work on them, get bored, move on to something else. So I got a lot of different projects all over my painting table. I mean, Stormcast Eternals for another game. I mean, I do a lot of GW miniatures for myself, but I mean, one of my other miniatures I have is good old Dread, right there, Judge Dredd from Mega 1, or from Mega City 1, and I just thought he was cool, so I grabbed him and started painting him up. But I got sidetracked with so many different projects. So I'm trying to, between showing you guys and doing all the cool stuff for you, for you out there, I'm trying to do my own thing. Some days it works. Some days it doesn't work. Okay, a lot of days it doesn't work. But we're just gonna get into it. So we're just gonna stick with my Skaven Blood Bowl team here. We're just gonna work on these guys because they're fun, and I really want to add these guys to my existing team. Now these ones right here, these are the Forge World Skaven booster pack. So what it comes with is two gutter runners. They're basically your ball catchers, your receivers, I guess. A blitzer. Let's see if we can move that up a little bit. Boom, like that, so you can maybe see a little bit better as to what's going on as I pull miniatures up to my face, so I can see what's going on. So it comes with a thrower. You're the guy that actually, the player that actually throws the ball, hence the word thrower. Two gunner runners, the guys that will catch the ball thrown by the thrower, and a blitzer, a guy that's, I'm not really sure what the equivalent is. You guys can equivalent in actual football, in American football, but They're out to just kind of wreck your day. These are your heavy hitters. These are guys that you put on the line to crush the linemen, crush the throwers, catchers, whatever you have on your Blood Bowl team. Now, a usual box comes with 12, I guess, but it's 2 sprues of 6 players, and you get one blitzer, 1 thrower, 1 gutter runner, and 3 linemen. And that's pretty much it. And then you get, of course, 2 sprues of those to make up a 12-man team, and you have 11 guys on the field. So you always have 1 in reserve, and usually you keep the linemen in reserve because they don't have any special skills or anything like that. But that's okay. Once you get into leagues and stuff like that, you can purchase skills, and you can give them to your linemen or your blitzers or whatever you want. So these miniatures are basically outside the normal, well, I should say the Blood Bowl, not necessarily these guys, but the Blood Bowl miniatures are outside your normal Age of Sigmar range. Now, these guys aren't meant to be used in Age of Sigmar, just like this Age of Sigmar guys aren't really meant to be used in Blood Bowl. But I guess you could proxy them. You could say, hey, these, I'm short a couple of guys, so these guys are going to count as whatever, and as long as you hold to that and you hold to the stats that the actual models are given, and your opponent is okay with it, then shouldn't be an issue. You still see what I'm doing? Perfect. I'm always worried that you guys aren't seeing, everything I'm doing, and I know you're not going to see anything clearly because, it'd be nice to paint up here so you can actually see what I'm doing. But I'm trying to figure out my studio, trying to figure out, the best way to try and make things work. Because I want to give you guys out there the best viewing experience and the best show I can. And this will grow and change, and we'll figure it out. And if you have any suggestions, by all means, I take a look at what's going on, and I try and change accordingly, but I change as best as I can accordingly anyway. Like I'm sure some of you, just like I would love, an overhead cam that comes straight down onto my painting table and nicely focused in and what I'm doing. Trust me, I'd love that too. Right now, the studio as it stands, not capable of those camera angles, but I'm working on it. Because I want those camera angles, and I know you want those camera angles, and I think those are great camera angles, so you can actually see what I'm doing, what's going on, so you're not left in the dark. So if I pull things up out of frame, just like that, you're not trying to see what I'm doing in the tiny little window. Now you can see it in a nice big window. You go, wow, that's a cool gutter runner. And I'd be like, yeah, it is. And I painted him. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of using the batch technique on these guys. The guys are, you know, they're a little different. Each guy's a little bit different, but they all have parts on them that are the same. That are going to be the same colors. Like they have little spiky things on their tails, like little spiked rings. So you know, no matter who has it, the blitzer, the thrower, the gutter runners, the linemen, whoever, you know, I've decided that it's going to be silver or metal anyway, kind of a bare metal color. So instead of finishing off one character, going through all the paints on one character, and then going through all the paints again on another character, and going, you know, so on and so forth, I figured, why not just, you know, it's only 4 guys that I'm doing right now. So it makes batch painting fast, makes batch painting easy. Yeah. Hopefully you get a lot, you know, hopefully when you do this, you get your armies done a little quicker, because, I mean, you're doing one color straight off the hop, done, and you're doing the next color, and you're doing the next color, you know, and then maybe while you're doing colors, you're like, oh man, I missed this spot, and then you have to, you know, then you have to go back, or just leave it black or white or whatever. But anyway, getting back to what I was kind of talking, I got off on a tangent. I'm sorry about that. Originally, I was saying these guys are Forge Worlds, so they're not plastic. They're resin, just like the guys from Breach Storm, which I just finished up. So when you put them together, you don't use your model airplane glue. You don't use the plastic glue or the ABS or however you want to call it. These ones here, you'll be using your super glue or crazy glue, again, whatever you want to call it. Sorry about that. But the quality of the sculpts and the dynamite, you know, the dynamics of the poses and are right up to GW standards. So I'm very happy with how these guys look. Now, with my catcher, you can see that I've actually left the arms off, or I left the hands off. It's because I wanted to be able to get in there and do the armor and stuff like that. So the hands holding the ball, which I just realized now I should have done in silver, but you know, it's one of those things where you're like, oh man, gotta go back, but that's okay. You can see it's still left on the sprue, and it will be until I'm ready to paint the ball and the hands and all that kind of stuff. It's just easier to do it that way, because then that way you can get in to the small spots or get in behind and fill what you need. Now the name of my team, of course, they're Skaven, but the name of the team is called the Thankwell Thrashers, and they're named their team owner, as it were, is Thankwell from Thankwell and Bone Ripper, a character that's right out of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. So what I've done is I've decided to make the uniforms on these guys a lot of the same colors that you find on Thankwell and Bone Ripper, or at least the way that the Games Workshop guys painted Thankwell and Bone Ripper. Now remember what I was saying. You can paint them however you want. So if you don't want them to be a certain color, then you don't paint them a certain color. But if you want to, like what I did is I literally followed their painting guide on Thankwell and Bone Ripper, color for color, and I took about a month working on these guys, working on them for about hour to 2 hours a day. Right here in the old Paint Slinger studios. Personally, I think he turned out really good, or they, because it's two characters. There's Thankwell. He's a Grey Seer. He's a magic using rat. And then there's Bone Ripper, and Bone Ripper is a rat ogre construct that Thankwell rides around on top of. They're very cool. They're one of my favorite miniatures. And oh, I just think they're fun. I really like them. As you go through each miniature, you look at and you realize that there's pieces that maybe should have been a certain color, but you didn't paint a certain color. But that's okay. No miniature is complete until you say it's complete. Or I heard somewhere, I think when I was back in college and doing art, and I guess maybe the same things can go for miniatures too, because miniatures are really just small pieces of art, because I have seen some amazingly painted miniatures. Especially two of the guys that I know of out of the States. They are, there's Josh from Mini Painting Studio and Drew Harrington from 1 Inch Heroes. They both do amazing work. If you have a chance, check their stuff out, because like I said, it's just absolutely amazing. I do okay. But these guys just, wow. All right. My team is getting there. I absolutely love adding to my Skaven Blood Bowl team, or my Skaven army. The army itself is pretty cool. I mean, I've got about maybe 2,000 points, 2,500 points, give or take. And those of us who play Warhammer knows what that means. Those who don't, just means the amount of guys that I can put, or the amount of units that I can put into an army. Each unit or each guy is worth X amount of points. So if you're playing a certain size game, and that's what you and your opponent choose on, or decide upon, agree upon, however you want to word it, then that's what you shoot for. And right now, the Slinger is in what they call a slow grow tournament. The slow grow tournament means that you start at a base amount of points. Right now, I start at 1,000 points, so I go through all my Skaven stuff, and I figure out what I want to put into it that equals out 1,000 points, while still following the rules. You have to have a general, so you have to have a guy that leads the army, and then you add on. And then the month after that, I think we're going to go to 1,500 points. So then I either paint or add on another 500 points worth of stuff. And then for the third month, we're going to add on another 500 points, and we're going to go to 2,000. So the biggest games we're going to have are 2,000. So, I mean, that's where these fellas come in. So I'm working on these guys for the slow grow tournament. Now they're not quite finished yet, but we're getting there. So I'm going to keep plugging away at these guys. Now, I have enough to play Blood Bowl, but I like to add extra guys in. So, until next time. The next time, like I said, we're going to start into Warhammer Quest Blackstone Fortress, which is another GW product. It's a box game. So it's a self-contained game, but you may be able to use the miniatures in your games of regular Warhammer 40,000. But we'll break into these guys here next week. Right now, like I said, I just wanted to show you a few things that are on my bench that I'm working on for my own personal armies, because it's Easter, and we're not going to get into a new project on Easter. So I thought this would be kind of fun. Anyway, everybody paint safe out there. We'll see you in the studio next time. And best of all, happy Easter.